सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। The 35th shloka. Repeat after me. Achyutah prathitah pranah pranado vasavanujah apam nidhiradhishtanam apramattah pratisthitah अच्युतः प्रथितः प्राणः प्राणदो वासवानुजः अपां निधिरधिष्ठानं निधिः अधिष्ठानम् अप्रमत्तः प्रतिष्ठितः। अच्युतः. So whenever Bhagavan Vishnu's name is considered, this is one of the names which is often repeated in bhajans, in various kritis and other things. This is one very often used name. Achyuta. Achyuta. A is a nisarga always added when we have to negate something. Like yesterday also we were sadhu and asadhu. So here chuti and then achyuti. What does chuta mean? Chuta means to fall. To not have a base, and that which has a tendency to fall, tendency to wobble, tendency to change. These are the various meanings of chuti. And this is a very root word from where the mountain is called achala. That which is not movable. I have also mentioned it, I think, couple of times, especially in Andhra Pradesh. There is one name which is so popular. There is a name that they have is Chalapati. Now, Chalapati is, according to Sanskrit, it is a wrong usage. It has to be Achalapati. If you ask them, where did you take this name? Because there are people who take, oh Swamiji, I found this name in Vishnu sahsranamam or Lalita sahsranamam. What name? So they say similarly is this name wherein they take somewhere in between, not knowing how to do the sandhi vichcheda. The original name is Venkatachalapati. Talking of Lord Balaji in Tirupati. Venkatachalapati. Now how should it be Sandhi Vicheda to be done? Venkata Achalapati. The one who is the Lord of these mountains, 7 hills, which are immobile, which cannot be moved. Achalapati. So once I was commenting this in the crowd, in the gathering that day, there are not 1 but 2 Chalapatis. They immediately raised the flag and said, you just ruined our names for us. So on the fly, I had to think a face saver for myself and for them for a better meaning. I said, don't worry, even that will be accepted. Because Lord Narayana has got 2 wives, 2 consorts. One is Chala, the other one is Achala. In fact, the first one is actually Chanchala, not just Chala, she is Chanchala. She is Lakshmi Devi. Does she ever remain in anybody's pocket? So Chalapati, I said, you are Lakshmi Pati. So they felt good. So Chuta means to be on a slippery ground. That which is change is called Chuta. Achuta, that which is changeless. Now what are the things that change? So the entire cosmos, the only constant principle about this entire cosmos is change is the changeless reality of this world. It's constantly changing. If somebody comes and tells you that, wow, you look same as I saw you 10 years ago, understand that they are bluffing. Sorry if you had any bubble there. Oh, I was looking then. I look pretty or I look handsome. Every day we change. Physically we change. Mentally not to say. Every second we change. Conceptually, we keep on changing. Better the concepts, more stable that we can. Beyond the concept is that stability which can never be moved. And that conscious principle, that great principle is called Achyuta, that which is the changeless truth, changeless reality, surrounding which everything changes, spinning around which everything changes. The entire Vedanta Shastra, Advaita Vedanta Shastra, talks purely about this changeless and to make a discrimination from all that which changes. Body, mind, intellect change. Waking, dream and deep sleep change. The 5 pranas change. The sthula, sukshma, karana, sharira change. I'm just rattling out the entire Tattva Bodha for you. That is the Viveka. To find, identify and ascertain and abide in that changeless reality. That is called Achyuta. What is the benefit of abiding in that Achyuta? In that changeless truth? Because sometimes when speaking to the younger generation, they come up with questions like, wouldn't it be boring? I like change. And you talk about that changeless reality and it sounds very boring. You keep staring at the same wallpaper, eat the same the sandwich morning, afternoon, evening. So I tell them, make a new sandwich. Why do you have to eat the same sandwich? But it is the same sandwich. Isn't it boring? Change is the spice of life. When you remove that change, then life becomes insipid, life becomes boring. In fact, life becomes amazingly interesting after you find that changeless substratum within. How so? All vulnerabilities that we fall for are removed. And from inside, there is a fearless spirit. It is not an intellectual concept, being fearless. Because nothing can shatter the inside stability, therefore fearless. And for those of us who have to reach out to as many in the name of service, in the name of seva, can do an outstanding job provided you are stable within. Otherwise, the seva will also start creating lot of mental agitations. Many people, they come and they say, I came to this spiritual organization, whichever organization, Chinmaya Mission. I came to this organization for some mental peace. And I have become more mental and less peace. Or I have become more mental and more pieces. Shattered. I am disenchanted with the system. See, these vulnerabilities are removed. The intellect and mind are freed. And because of that stability, there is fearlessness. Because nothing can touch, nothing can shatter, nothing can throw. Any kingdom, the king can be thrown out. If there is not a kingdom, then Republican will try to beat the Democratic will try to beat the Republican. And in between, one fellow will say, I'll go independent. Still you have to be in the same rut of things wherein you have to fight with each other. The independence is being subdued by, being controlled by any of the external parameters. Then you can go out and give maximum peace and maximum happiness once you strike that stability within. Therefore, Gurudev's motto for the institution was, do you know what it is? Okay, you should start from the first word, otherwise it will not mean anything. To give maximum happiness to maximum people for the longest time. I would add, in the shortest possible way. My addition to that. Efficacy of the system is that it is so beautiful, well laid out, that you will strike that stability, and that is when you will be maximum productive, and that is when your life will become an amazing entertainment. Until then, you are entertainment for others. After that, life happens and you are entertained by that life. Achyutaha. Prathitaha. Prathitaha. that one which is praised even by the Upanishads. I was once with a great Kathakar. Kathakar, the Bhagavat and Ramayana they speak on. A very humble one at that. He could sing, he could narrate, he was a multi-talented. And he could speak on Bhagavat and Ramayana in about 6 languages. So I was with him one day in the evening satsang, saptaha with him. And I just did my pranam and he also did his pranam. And then somebody came, some Seth ji came and he said, Babuji, आज आपका कथा एकदम बढ़िया था. तो ऐसे आपके पुण्य है. He didn't say that, thank you or anything. He said, it's your punya that you felt that today the katha was good. So I looked at him with a quizzical look like, what a response. What kind of a response is that? And that was what was going in my head. Then he put his hand on my shoulders and he said, Dekho bhaiya, those who give praises, that one can be considered as worthy of considering as a praise if it comes from somebody who is way experienced or realized. Rest of it all, it is their mind entertaining that thought, therefore I called it their punya. That day when a Mahatma comes around, when this is a Mahatma speaking, that day when a Mahatma comes around saying, Beta, today's whatever you spoke was amazing, then I'll consider myself blessed. What is worthy of being praised in this world? It seems like psychologically we demand being praised. We demand being recognized. After coming into this country, probably knowing me, Guruji's suggestions, not that there were too many, there were at least 3 of them, and one was learn to say thank you, sorry, as many times as possible. Thank you, sorry, there was one more word, please. I said, I have 3 instructions for you when you go to US. The first one was, learn to say as many times as possible, sorry, thank you and please. And he made me repeat it. Say it again, say it again. Because psychologically we demand. So what is really that which is worthy of praise? That even the Upanishads and the Shruti declares as the greatest and the only one praiseworthy of. That which encapsulates all these 3 together at the same point is worthy of praise. That which is absolute truth, satyam, that which is absolute auspicious, and that which is absolutely good or beautiful, satyam, shivam and sundaram. That one wherein all these 3 at the same time reflect that it is truthful, it is auspicious and it is beautiful. A very strange combination. We don't find that many situations wherein all these 3 things strike together. First, if it is truthful, it is unbearable and bitter. Isn't it? That which is truthful is usually unbearable and bitter. Even if it is bearable, it has to be auspicious. So the first two are so strong and rigid that seldom there is a third opportunity for the third to reflect. Because of the first two rigidity, the beauty in that expression or beauty in that existence gets shattered. That it is a very thin balance. And that which can express as beauty as well. Satyatva, Shivatva and Sundaratva. All at the same time, that which can reflect seamlessly, effortlessly. That one is praiseworthy. And what is it that is praiseworthy? They said, the Lord and His glories. It is not that the Lord requires JJkar. It almost seems like a tyrant who expects everybody of his subject to constantly do the praises. Siyavar Ramachandra ki jai. Sometimes these kids, when they get into the role of things and they get a hang of it, just start Siyavar Ramachandra ki jai. Then 20-30 God names that they say ki jai, ki jai. Just because they love to say jai. So what are you doing? You are saying that praise the Lord, victory to the Lord. Victory to the Lord, praise the Lord. Why does He require praises? It is not that He requires praises. He is the only one. He and His glories are the only one which are praiseworthy. The rest of it all is not even worth remembering. Prathitaha, that is one meaning. The second meaning is that which is all pervasive. Prathitaha also means that which is all pervasive. Therefore supports everything. Therefore it is glorious. And hence the Upanishads and the Shruti or the scriptures declare as that Lord and His glories as the greatest, to be constantly praised. There was one Mahatma, he used to be, he is not a professional speaker kind of a thing, but whatever he spoke with such authority and very slowly. It was usually, mostly in Hindi or always in Hindi, and it was in that Shuddha Hindi. Prathitaha ka matlab Paramatma hai. It will be that kind of slow, ekdam. You are coming there for, if you are not a prepared listener, Prathitaha ka matlab keval Paramatma hi ho sakta hai. Second sentence. And sometimes in between, he seldom gave examples, seldom related it to the, he used to talk from the absolute standpoint always. By mistake, if he ever would give a worldly example, okay, first thing is he would laugh. And second thing is, Shruti mein sansar aa gaya. While talking about Shruti, the samsara has crept in. So let us clean it up. भगवान का नाम लेते हैं. बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. It says Pratitaha, the only praiseworthy. The another reason, or the last reason is, it is only him and his glories and his Nama and its Pratap of the Nama that can clean the entire samsara from within. Therefore, he is praiseworthy. Achyutaha prathitaha pranaha. Pranaha, the life principle that throbs in every being. I have said this in different standpoints as well, that I think it is in Hinduism or in our Sanatana Dharma, with equal emphasis it has been given across, that every form of expression where life expresses, whether it be plant, whether it be animal, whether it be a moth or a worm or a bird, whatever format it is the expression of that Paramatma alone. So all these expressions of different souls are expression of Paramatma alone. In clear terms it has been mentioned. Why am I emphasizing it so much? In some other religions it is said that only human beings have, and they also, that concept also has been evolving. First they said only white people have souls. Therefore the rest of the people can be, enslaved. Now you can treat them as you want because they don't have souls. They're just expressions. The souls express only as white bodies. Then there was a change, and they said women also, white women. Earlier white women also did not have souls. And now they said white women also have souls, Caucasian women. Then after the strong resistance towards the apartheid and the slavery and other things, then they said okay, black also, or other skins also, other skin colors also have souls. But animals and other creatures definitely don't have souls. But here in our Sanatana Dharma, with clear terms it says that every expression of life throbbing is an expression of that Paramatma alone. Whether it be plant, whether it be animal, whether it be a bird, whether it be an amphibian, whether it be human, it is an expression of Paramatma. From this subtle standpoint of expression or understanding is the customs and traditions that are born, that we end up worshipping stones, end up worshipping mountains, end up worshipping rivers, trees, shrubs. In fact, almost every traditional house used to have a tulasi plant at home. And every day you used to worship right in the morning. You wake up, take shower, offer water to that tulsi plant, light a lamp, and then start your day's activity. The Shiva Linga is a stone. There is no shape to it. The trees, neem tree, banyan tree, peepal tree. There is one called Audumbar. Audumbar is a fig genre of species of plants. So that tree is worshipped. Animals are worshipped. There is one Mahakaleshwar temple wherein rats are the expression, and you offer the Naivedya. I don't want to tell what Naivedya, but you offer the Naivedya and the rats are the ones who are fed. It's very highly spiritual. Rats. Because the Naivedya is spirit. Cow is worshipped. Birds are worshipped. It is not from the primitivity that we are scared of the nature, therefore we end up worshipping them. Which is what is interpreted by the Western mindset, that all this worshipfulness is born because of the lack of understanding that these are natural occurrences and it is considered as a wrath of a god, therefore you end up worshipping. No, it is the expression of Paramatma in every form of expression, therefore it is worship worthy. So it is not a primitivity, but it is an highest evolved state of worshipfulness. Pranaha. Pranadaha. Pranadaha, the one who gives prana to everyone. The one who gives that strength to everyone. The one who, because of whose presence, there is that spark of life throbbing in every living form. Pranadaha. The is to give. Pranada, the one who gives life. Here he can be mentioned as that Bhagavan who has, we even sing in the Dhyana Shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Mukam karoti vachalam. Sometimes it is also, I feel like chanting, Vachalam karoti mukam api. Mukam karoti vachalam, those who are mute, he makes them speak. Those who are badbadnath, mukam, mute them. I wish. Mukam karoti vachalam. Pangum langhayate girim. Pangum, those whose feet and hands and legs are not working, he gives them the strength to use them that they can even climb the most difficult mountainous path. Pangum langhayate girim. Yat krupa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. It is all because of your krupa. One Mahatma gave such a sweet explanation to that shloka. He said, it is applicable in each one of our lives. When we are born, what are we? Muka. Sometimes I think the mothers make it up, they don't even understand what the child is telling. Many of these tiny tots who have just started babbling some words, and the mothers give their interpretation. My son uvacha, or my daughter uvacha. Abba to bolo, abba to bodo bolo. Swamiji, he is saying Hari Om to you. Acha. Abba to bodo, abba to bolo. So that is Hari Om. Mukam, we are born with no speech. As we evolve, we start speaking. We learn, we are empowered to speak. Mukam karoti vachalam. Pangum, helplessly lying there for months together, wherein the limbs, you don't even know how to use those limbs. And that's why when they are very young, you'll see some scratch marks all over their face, or where did that scratch mark come from? From their own nails. After a while, when you grow up, then you start developing those nails and you start petting them almost. What do you call them? The French Shurpanakha. Not French Surpanakha. The French nails remind me of Surpanakha. It's the big ones. Shurpa means big nails. Surpanakha. At that age, they don't even know how to control. They end up hurting themselves, helplessly lying there. If an ant comes to bite you or a mosquito comes to bite you, what do you do? Ultimate answer. He said, kill it. But that little baby does not know anything but to start crying. Because they can't use their limbs. They come to a point wherein, as they say, the Kodak moment, the first step. There starts the problem. Little packet of unfed energy. Because they seldom eat and they seem to have such abundance of energy. They bounce off everywhere, constantly. When you look at them, it is a wonder, where does this energy come from? They hardly eat. And half of what they eat, they vomit. And still bounce off everywhere. Yeah. And that which could not walk, that which could not talk, who is empowering? Pranadaha. That prana which enlivens, providing forth the strength, energy and vitality for that individual to see properly, think properly, hear properly, speak properly, walk properly, every aspect of life, to do it with utmost perfection. That vitality which empowers all these organs to function, pranadaha. He is prana and he empowers everything that he touches. Pranaha, pranadaha. He is called Vasavanuja. Anuja means somebody who is younger. Usually the older kid is named Anuj or Anuja. Usually meaning that not a norm. That is what I see these days. That's so contradicting. I said then the younger one should be named as Agraj or Agraja. Agraj means the firstborn, the older one. So Anuja. Anu means next. Ja, born. The one who is born next. Meaning there is already somebody born, you are born next. Anuja. Whose Anuja is Bhagavan? Vasava Anuja. Who is Vasava? Indra is called Vasava. Why is Mr. Indra, how did he become the brother of Indra? A strange combo. So in the Vaman avatar, Bhagavan expresses or he is given birth to by Aditi. See, it all starts with Kashyapa having two wives. The first wife's name was Aditi. The second wife's name was Diti. And right since the birth of children of these two, Gadbad Shuru. Gadbad started. Why? All those who are born to Aditi are called Adityas or Devas. All those who are born to Diti are called Daitya. And they are all in the family. Constant quarrel, constant squabbling. And Kashyapa Muni is considered to be of the highest Vairagi. Now you have such a family, who will not get Vairagya? Definitely Vairagya is the next result. No, it was not a result of the family, but he was a Vairagi in first place. So to take care of Raja Bali, Bhagavan seeks the womb of Aditi, and Indra, who was born of the same womb just before. Therefore, he became the younger brother of Indra. Those who are born of the same mother or the same womb, they are called Sahodara. Saha Udara. Udara means the same womb. Udara actually means stomach. But what they mean there is the same womb. Born of the same womb. Therefore, Bhagavan Vishnu is the Sahodara of Indra. And that Vaman Avatara, he is, from that Vaman Avatara onwards, he is always recognized as Vasavanuja. Vasava. Another meaning which Gurudev brings in very beautifully in his book, he says that definitely the firstborn is our intellect. And the Adhisthana Deva of that intellect is always Indra. Indra is the Lord of the intellect. Or the intellect is the expression of Indra. Different ways of looking at it. So the firstborn Indra, and because of that intellect's sharpness, the next born is the urge to become independent, free and happy. So that urge to become independent and free is the urge wherein we become that seeker, which finally culminates or should culminate in the realization of that Paramatma within, and that is the Vamana, the second born. And Kathopanishad also says that he is in our own heart, Madhye Vamanam Asinam. He is in the middle of our spiritual heart in a Vamana form, in a very small form. How small? Angushta matra purushaha Sognihi adhumakaha. He is of the size of the Angushta. Angushta is the thumb. Not the entire thumb, just the first line. What do you call this? Okay, you can see it, right? Whatever you call this.
Crease.
Okay, first crease. It is that size of Jyoti, light. Adhumakaha. So don't consider that there is a lamp flickering inside. It is a light, but it does not emit any smoke or any different kinds of impacts. And from there, the life throbs forth as if. So there also it is said as the Vamana Rupa. So here we have seen so far Achyuta Pratita Pranaha Pranado Vasavanujaha Apam Nidhiradhishtanam Apramattah Pratisthitaha. So somebody asked me, can we name our child as Apam? They are always searching for some new names, right? New names that have never been used before. And now we have Vishnu sahsranamam to say that, it is from Vishnu sahsranamam. Can we have our child's name as Apam? I said, why would you want to name your child that? I said, it sounds cool. I said the whole word, there is not Apam, it is Apam Nidhi. Apam Nidhi is the whole word. Apam means water. Nidhi means the greatest collection of entire water put together. So here, the entire mass of ocean. Ocean. I always get confused between ocean and sea. So I'm told ocean is deep and the sea is shallow. And that's why they say they call it as a Caribbean Sea and not an ocean. It is shallow. Whereas the Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, they've been named different, but honestly they are all connected. It's one. In our Hindu scriptures, it is not that the water is in between the pieces of land, but the land is floating in the water. It's the other way around that they put it. Anyways, the greatest mass of water is the ocean. And in Bhagavad Gita, when Bhagavan says all the great attributes in the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, he talks about Sarasam Asmi Sagaraha. Of all the great collections of water, I am the Sagara. So he is the expression of that water, that vitality without which our survival here may not have been possible. Is not possible, not might not have. And if you look at it, where was I recently? San Diego. So I was in San Diego and have you been to San Diego? When you taste the water there, it has a very peculiar taste to it. So I asked those people, why does this have a peculiar taste? They said, we don't find any peculiar. Maybe 15-20 years ago when we came here we found it, but now this is the best water. Then I did my digging. Because it is all that desert kind of an environment when there's no natural source of water. So what they do is the entire water that gets used, it is cleaned. And there is about 5-6 steps of cleansing process. After having cleaned it, they pump it back into the earth. And then the what do you call that, groundwater, what do you call that? No, groundwater, some kind of a reading, the groundwater level. Groundwater table is maintained high, and then they suck it again. And then do the entire process of cleaning 5-6 times. So I said, what kind of water? The entire drainage and everything that goes out. So once you come to understand it, you don't feel like touching that water again. So as I was being very iffy about it, this person forwarded me another article. He said, if you look at it from a totally objective perspective, the entire mass of water on the earth has been recycled for about 4 million years constantly. So what are you talking about, this water here being recycled by humans? I said, okay, I accept it. Yeah. There are a lot of places. After that, I realized that there's a lot of places wherein see, that water which has been as eternal as the creation, without whose presence, if you look at it, what a beautiful system that he has created, that there is a huge mass of water, and when the mass of water index gets higher, he stores it as ice. And and they say that what do you find these icebergs? So what you see is only the tip of the iceberg, they say. Why? Because there is so much down that it is unimaginable. So the excess gets stored, and whatever else gets in a very powerful way of recycling. It gets evaporated, it becomes steam, and the steam goes up, and over a period of time when it gathers and becomes heavy, and again. What a beautiful process of recycling. No contaminants. The pure water is taken out, sucked out. In some of the Ayurvedic and native medicines, when the rain comes and it's icy rain, and there are ओले को हिंदी में इंग्लिश में क्या बोलते हैं? Hail. When the hail comes down, that hail water is supposed to be having curing effects for various ailments. So the native traditions gather all that hail and then store it as water for various medicinal purposes. Imagine this entire creation without water, what would have happened? There are many governments that are searching for other solar systems and other galaxies wherein human beings can be inhabited. Now what is the first thing that they look? Presence of huge water. Yes, hydrogen. Without which our sustenance is not possible. Therefore, he says, the entire water is that because of which we are sustained. Yopam pushpam veda pushpavan prajavan pashuman bhavati yaha apam pushpam veda. That who understands this truth behind waters. Here waters mean not the physical water, that because of which everything is sustained. That one alone understands all the secrets of this beautiful creation. So every paragraph that goes by, so various secrets are revealed in it. And that which is sustaining all these various layers is that Paramatma. Unto him our salutations. Apam Nidhi. Adhishthanam. Adhishthanam. Now this is the word that Gauda Padacharya. Do you know who is Gauda Padacharya? Thank you. Shankaracharya's guru's guru. Shankaracharya's guru is Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya, and his guru is Gauda Padacharya. People who came from Bengal area, they were called as Gaudiya. And Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya's guru came from that area, therefore he was called Gauda Padacharya. It was a very funny incident. The Gaudiya Sampradayas are strict Dvaitins. Therefore, all the Gauda Sampradaya, the traditions, one for example, the ISKCON, they are all Gaudiya. So they were very strict, Dvaitavadins, Dvaita practitioners. So I was in one such Gaudiya Sampradaya, and the mantras looked very familiar, what they were chanting. Usually when they chant, there is a lot of agama rather than nigama. So the agama shastra is very specific to each tradition. So you may not know those mantras. But these mantras were very, very familiar. And I said, can I have a copy of it? I feel that it is familiar. I can also chant along. Then I realized, do you know what they were chanting? Strict Dvaitavadins. They were chanting Gauda Padacharya's Tika on Mandukya Upanishad. I said, why are you chanting this? Because he was also Bengali. Therefore, we are continuing the tradition of chanting it. So when they understand what the meaning of it is pure Advaitin. And he uses this word Adhisthana quite efficiently. Almost he repeats this word quite often. He says, without an Adhisthana, without a substratum, without a support, nothing else can be projected to be perceived. And what we see, what we experience is just a perception. And we can perceive because we are the substratum. So when he makes this argument, then there is always counter argument. So in counter argument he is asked, so what do you talk of all this creation? It is just my projection? So he says, what creation? When that who is perceiving this projection in itself is not a reality, that which is being perceived, how can it be real? This is what is your standpoint on this Jagat and creation of this Jagat? He says, which Jagat? Because the Jiva who is projecting the Jagat in itself is not a reality. When the Jiva itself is not real, the Jagat that is perceived by that Jiva, he said, first prove Jiva, then I'll disprove Jagat, he says. It's a very powerful thought. It's like your grandfather or your father is trying to write a will, and he says all my kids who have property, wealth and everything will go to only grandchildren. And the youngest two come and said, what about our children? The father says, first have them, then we can talk about their share in the property. They come into picture only when they are there. And that which is non-existent, the jiva is non-existent. The perception of the non-existent jiva is the jagat. So his standpoint is very cool. He says, first prove the existence of jiva, then we can talk about srishti. It's mind-blowing. All that matters is the adhisthana. That because of which there is a seeming existence of jiva. That substratum is Paramatma. Therefore, where is God? Right here, that conscious principle is God. Think about this. It's not a very easy concept to digest. Because all our basis is made with the basic understanding that there is a world outside, and that world outside has certain principles, and those principles have certain constants, and we function understanding those constants and using them accordingly. Now here comes the logic wherein he says nothing of this makes sense. Nothing of this is real. Because that who is envisioning this, that jiva's existence itself is questionable. Why is there a seeming existence of that jiva? Because of the adhisthana. Because of the substratum. Hopefully it got across. Because all that I am seeing is the big eyes. I said, what? Say that again? That's why I repeated 3 times. See, the number of examples or the number of times I repeat, the different kinds that I attempt to repeat it, different angles that it's all dependable variable on your eyes. You all still look very starry-eyed. I will not dwell more on it. Enough disturbing you with that thought. Go think about it. Adhishthanam. Apramattaha. Apramattaha pramadarahitaha iti. The one who never ever commits any pramada. Pramada, mistake. The one who never ever commits a mistake. Therefore, is this entire expression of that Paramatma in various forms, various kinds, into various creations and extensions. Could it have been a mistake? There are people who, Nasadiyavadi, they say that there is no Paramatma, no God, nothing. But it is something like, have you ever eaten pan? What are the ingredients of pan? 3 main ingredients. Rest of them are add-ons. Their presence or absence is immaterial. The calcium carbonate? No. Calcium carbonate, right? Calcium carbonate. And then the leaf, betel leaf, and the betel nut. These are the three main ingredients. The betel leaf is in what color? The betel nut? Brown. And the calcium carbonate? White. But when you put all these three things together, what does it create? Red color. So the creation or this entire expression is like that red color. A freak accident wherein these three elements came together to give that red color, which is not an intrinsic quality of any one of those three. Similarly, some elements must have come together and there must have been a bang, big bang. And all the particles spread out. And each particle had its own magnetic field. Accordingly, it started spinning around the main hub of the star. The rest of the planets may also have had the opportunity for rest of the planetary particles may also have had the opportunity for organism to flourish. But this was the optimal level wherein there was enough sun, enough cold, enough balance of heat, and therefore the water did not evaporate. And there was the first, what is the first unicellular? Amoeba. And the amoeba multiplied. And then we had evolution. There is no God, nothing. There is just a sheer freak accident that these things have happened. Have you ever seen a beautiful artistic accident? That which you would see and enjoy. Have you ever seen an accident? 2-3 cars coming and crossing the lanes and then hitting, and then all particles flying over, and people also flying over, and you are sitting there. Oh, awesome. Such a beautiful accident. If this creation was such a beautiful accident, such a freak accident, there's such subtle beauty and great admirable things that happen, which happen with such precision that you cannot just brush it aside saying that it was an accident. Have you heard of the Fibonacci number? Have you heard of the pi and the repeatability of pi? The entire creation goes through these various cycles, and they go through with such precision. So at least the belief here is that God and His expression, Paramatma and His expression, are not a sheer mistake. Why? He is apramattaha, that who never commits a mistake. And then what are we? Sarvada pramattaha. Therefore, we have to learn constantly to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Constantly keep repeating it. Apramattaha. Pratisthitaha. Pratisthitaha, that which is well established. So some people use this as the adjective for the earlier word. That Paramatma is blemishless and he does not commit mistakes. This is well established. And if you look at Paramatma, well established, he is the only tattva that is well established. The rest of it changes accordingly. He is the only established truth. Apramatto pratisthitaha, the one which is well established. Therefore, as the buddhi gets subtler and subtler in its conviction, firmer in its conviction, it is closer to Paramatma. Lack of that sthiratva, that pratishtha is within, it shows that we are that far away from the truth within. Therefore, when the mind which is jumping out in the world with various objects is suddenly turned within, it is usually advised to stick pratishtha with one form, one name. Otherwise, as it had had the habit of repeating various things of the outside world, it will repeat various things of the inside world. Because it needs entertainment. And its entertainment is not being in pratishtha. So as this buddhi, mind, the intellect and the mind and the body come into a certain discipline of firmness, the system is getting closer to Paramatma. Though Paramatma is nowhere near yet, but at least it is a firm footing towards Paramatma. Therefore, at a physical level having that discipline, at an intellectual level having that dedication, and at the mind level having that dedication, at the intellectual level having that firmness in conviction. As this pratishtha happens from the external, we get closer and closer, subtler and subtler towards that well-established truth which I am. Achyutah pratitah pranaha pranado vasavanujaha apam nidhihi apramattaha pratisthitaha. So, apam nidhi adhishthanam apramattaha pratisthitaha. So we have seen through the 35th shloka. Tomorrow we will see the 36th one, wherein we will talk about Murga, not the Hindi one. This is about Kartikeya. So we will listen about that tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.